Hello students, today we will study macroeconomics topic aggregate demand part 2. Macroeconomics aggregate demand part 2. Okay students, saving function, propensity to save. Saving function refers to the functional relationship between सेविंग एंड इनकम. सेविंग फंक्शन क्या होते हैं? जो सेविंग एंड इनकम का रिलेशनशिप बताते हैं. इसको फॉर्मूला है S इक्वल टू F ब्रैकेट में Y. S से सेविंग, F से फंक्शनल रिलेशनशिप, Y से इनकम. सेविंग डिपेंड्स अपॉन द लेवल ऑफ इनकम. सेविंग किस पे डिपेंड करती है कि आपकी इनकम कितनी है, उस हिसाब से आप लोग सेविंग करते हो. इट इज़ सिंपली द डिज़ायर ऑफ द हाउस होल्ड्स टू होल्ड अ पार्ट ऑफ देयर टोटल डिस्पोजेबल इनकम. सेविंग दैट पार्ट ऑफ इनकम दैट इज़ नॉट कंज्यूम्ड. सेविंग वो पार्ट ऑफ इनकम होती है जिसको हम कंज्यूम खर्च नहीं करते हैं, बचा के रखते हैं. Generally, as the level of income increase, saving also increases and vice versa. अगर हमारी इनकम इंक्रीज़ कर रही है तो हमारी सेविंग की रेट भी क्या होती है, इंक्रीज़ हो जाती है. The equation shows that the remaining amount after the deduction of total expenditure from total income is saving. Thus, saving is that part of income which is not spent on consumption. Next is relationship between saving and income. First, direct relationship. There exists direct relation between saving and income. डायरेक्ट रिलेशन मीन्स जब इनकम इंक्रीज़ करी, सेविंग लेवल भी हमारा क्या होगा, इंक्रीज़ कर जाएगा, पर लेस प्रोपोर्शन में इंक्रीज़ करेगा. दिस मीन्स if income increases, saving also increases, but in less proportion in comparison to income, क्योंकि हमको कुछ पार्ट कंजम्पशन के लिए भी इस्तेमाल करना होता है, इसलिए. नेक्स्ट, सेविंग इज़ नेगेटिव. व्हेन इनकम लेवल इज़ लो, सेविंग इज़ नेगेटिव. जब आपकी इनकम ही लो होती है तो आप क्या सेविंग करोगे, तो वो नेगेटिव चली जाती है. इन द इनिशियल स्टेजेस में, स्टार्टिंग में, व्हेन इनकम इज़ ज़ीरो, कंजम्पशन एक्सपेंडिचर इज़ मोर देन इन कंपैरिजन टू द लेवल ऑफ सेविंग. सो देयर इज़ नो सेविंग, दैट इज़ डिस सेविंग. जब हम सेविंग कोई नहीं करते तो हम उसको बोलते हैं डिस सेविंग. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? डिस सेविंग. तो ये 2 पॉइंट्स हैं जो रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन सेविंग एंड इनकम बताते हैं. नेक्स्ट इज़ important observations from saving schedule and saving curve. important observations क्या क्या पता लगी जब हमने सेविंग शेड्यूल बनाया और सेविंग कर्व ड्रॉ करी. फर्स्ट, स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ऑफ सेविंग कर्व इंडिकेटिंग नेगेटिव सेविंग व्हेन नेशनल इनकम इज ज़ीरो. व्हेन वंस इनकम इज लो और ज़ीरो, how can they think of saving? They only wants to fulfill their needs. जब उसकी इनकम इतनी ज़्यादा लो है तो वो कैसे सोच सकता है कि मैं सेविंग करूँगा, तो वो सबसे पहले ये सोचेगा कि मैं अपना खर्चा कर लेता हूँ. ओके. नेक्स्ट है स्लोप ऑफ सेविंग कर्व. पॉजिटिव स्लोप. इनकम इंक्रीजेस, सेविंग आल्सो इंक्रीजेस. जब इनकम इंक्रीज़ करी तो सेविंग रेट भी इंक्रीज़ कर गई. थर्ड, ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट. सेविंग इक्वल टू ज़ीरो. When income is equal to consumption or saving is zero. When people have very low income, they can't save. They consume it all to fulfill their needs. Okay. Positive saving. After break even point, saving is positive. As income increases, this saving vanishes and saving becomes positive. So these are the important observations from saving schedule and saving curve. Okay. Now next is types of propensities to save. कौन कौन सी 2 टाइप्स की propensities to save होती है? पहला होता है APS, एवरेज propensity to save. सेकेंड होता है MPS मार्जिनल प्रोपेंसिटी टू सेव, यहाँ पे APS इक्वल टू S/Y, S क्या हो गया सेविंग, Y क्या हो गया इनकम. ओके. Average propensity to save, economic term that refers to the proportion of income that is saved rather than spent on goods and services, also known as the saving ratio. A population's APS can be affected by demographic factors such as proportion of older people in the region. Older people have already passed the wealth accumulation phase of their life and are more likely to consume than spend. Younger people who are in the wealth accumulation phase of their life should be saving their money for large purchases like houses and for their retirement. MPS delta S upon delta Y. Delta means change. Proportion of an increase in income that gets saved instead of spent on consumption. It varies by income level. MPS is typically higher at higher incomes. It is generally assumed to be higher for wealthier individuals than it is for poorer individuals. It reflects how much they want to put extra income into different forms of saving. Okay, students? Important points about APS and MPS. APS can never be one or more than one. Our saving can never be equal to or more than national income. This means we can't equate saving and income. Second, APS can be zero. When all income is spent on consumption, then saving is zero. This is called break-even point. Third, APS can be negative or less than 1. When saving is negative, that is when consumption exceeds income. Fourth, APS rises with increase in income. Proportion of income saved rises. If income increases, then saving rate will also increase. People will have more money to save for future. Next, MPS, it varies between 0 and 1. If a person's entire increase in income is consumed, then the change in consumption will be equal to change in income, making MPS equal to 1. In case entire income is saved, change in consumption is 0, meaning MPC is equal to 0. Okay, students? Equation of consumption function. C equal to C bar plus B bracket में Y. C consumption, C bar autonomous consumption, B MPC, Y income. It has two parts, autonomous consumption and second is induced consumption. Autonomous consumption, minimum level of consumption even when income is 0, denoted by C bar. It is always positive. If consumption takes place even when income is 0, it is because of autonomous consumption. Second is induced consumption, that part of consumption which varies with the level of disposable income. As disposable income rises, induced income rises. As disposable income falls, induced income also falls. Investment function. Expenditure incurred on creation of new capital assets. It increases the productive capacity of an economy. Examples: machinery, building, equipment, raw material, etc. Purchase of goods that are not consumed today but are used in the future to create wealth. Addition to the stock of physical capital such as machines, buildings, roads, etc. That is anything that adds to the future productive capacity of the economy, and changes in the inventory of the stock of finished goods of a producer. There are two types of investment expenditure. First is induced investment, it is income elastic. Second is autonomous investment, it is income inelastic. First, induced investment. Capital investment that is influenced by the shifts in the economy. These investments are made with the intention to generate profit out of such investments. The change in the cost of raw material, change in the taste and preferences of customers, increase in the lending or borrowing rates, etc. have a direct impact on these type of investments. The firm have a direct relationship between the amount of investment and the income and profit earned. If the income and profit tend to increase, the induced investment also increases and vice versa. Such investments are generally made by the demand and supply and make profits out of such venture. These can be abandoned anytime a firm wants if it feels that such investments are no more profitable for the firm. Second is autonomous investment. It is independent of the economy shifts. This means any change in the cost of raw material or any change in the salary and wages of labor, etc. has no effect on the autonomous investment. It is made for the welfare of the society and not for generating profits out of such investments. These are made by the government in the form of construction of roads, buildings, flyovers, etc. It is not continuous, could rise or fall depending on government's desire. So these are the two types of investment expenditure. Determinants of investment. There are two determinants of investment. First is marginal efficiency of investment. Second is rate of interest. First, marginal efficiency of investment. Expected rates of return on investment. As additional units of investment are made under specified conditions and over a stated period of time. A comparison of these rates with going rate of interest may be used to indicate the profitability of investment. It has two factors. First, supply price. Cost of producing a new asset of that kind. It is the price at which the new capital asset can be supplied or replaced. Second is prospective yield. Net return expected from the capital assets over its lifetime. Second determinant is rate of interest, cost of borrowing money for financing the investment. Next is ex ante and ex post saving and investment. Now, what is the meaning of ex ante variable? Planned or expected value of variable. In this, we look at future events based on possible predictions. Second is ex post variable. These are actual or realized value of the variable. In this, we look at results and events after they have occurred. Two aspects of saving and investment. First is ex ante saving and investment. Ex ante saving means desired savings or planned savings during the period of 1 year. This is the savings which is intended to be made in the economy during the period of 1 year. Ex ante investment. Desired investment or planned investment during the period of 1 year This is investment expenditure which is intended to be made in the economy during the period of 1 year. Now, ex post saving and investment. Ex post saving. Actual savings in the economy from the given level of income during the period of 1 year. This aspect of savings is considered in the calculation of national income. Second is ex post investment. Actual investment in the economy during the period of 1 year. This aspect of investment is considered in the calculation of national income. Now, next is full employment. It is a situation in which all those people who are willing and able to work at existing wage rate get work without any undue difficulty, in which all available labor resources used in the most efficient way possible. In macroeconomics, there can be some types of unemployment even during full employment. It means full employment does not stand for zero unemployment or set percent employment. Two types of unemployment. First, frictional unemployment, temporary unemployment which exists during the period wherein workers leave one job and join some other. Time spent between jobs when a worker is searching for a job or transferring from one job to another. Causes. What are the causes of frictional unemployment? First, mismatch between the workers and available jobs. Second is workers' dissatisfaction with work conditions. Second is structural unemployment, in which people remain unemployed due to a mismatch between unemployed persons and the demand for specific type of workers. It is brought about by technological changes that make the job skills of many workers obsolete. Okay, students? Next is voluntary and involuntary unemployment. Voluntary situation when a person is unemployed because he is not willing to work at the existing wage rate. It is not counted while estimating the size of unemployment. Second is involuntary unemployment, in which all those people who are willing and able to work at the existing wage rate do not get work. Only this type of unemployment is considered while estimating the total unemployment in an economy.